HCW, with its innovative platform for creating novel T-cell engagers and immune checkpoint inhibitors, is poised to play a major role in advancing these next-generation immunotherapies. So we think we're at the right place at the right time.
Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for another Virtual Investor What This Means segment. Today we are featuring HCW Biologics. My name is Janine Thomas. I am CEO of JTCIR, and I am very pleased to be joined by Dr. Peter Rhode. He is Chief Science Officer and Vice President of Clinical Affairs at HCW Biologics. Welcome, Dr. Rhode.
Great to be here. Thank you.
So happy to have you. Before we get started, I would like to remind our audience that HCW Biologics is publicly listed on NASDAQ and trades under the ticker HCWB. And during today's discussion, the company will be making forward-looking statements, and I encourage everyone to view the company's latest SEC filings on their website at hcwbiologics.com for the latest filings and information. For our audience, we will get started, but I want to provide a little bit of background on the company. So HCW Biologics is a clinical stage immunotherapeutic company, and the company recently announced their second generation T-cell engager program and has joined a small group of innovative biotechnology companies who have discovered new compounds that overcome resistant mechanisms and improve the ability to treat solid tumors. So from a business perspective, the new T-cell engagers have generated a frenzy of interest from big pharma who are willing to license them for billions of biobucks. And these partnerships have likely been driven by the TCE's potential in both oncology and autoimmune diseases, and the majority of these deals were based on preclinical TCE programs. So virtually all of the big pharma players are in the game. So we are going to dive right into what this means for HCW Biologics. So Dr. Rhode, just to start, for some background and to help educate our audience, can you describe what are T-cell engagers?
Sure, but first I'd like to thank you again for inviting me, and I welcome the opportunity to discuss our recent work with our second generation T-cell engagers that have the potential to redirect the patient's immune system to kill a broad array of solid tumors, while at the same time reducing the immunosuppressive effects of these tumors on the patient's immune cells. So just to provide some background on T-cell engagers, of course, your immune system is designed to keep our bodies healthy, and T cells in this system, particularly effector T cells, play a role in recognizing and killing infected cells and cancer cells. But as the tumors grow, the tumor cells develop ways to avoid T cell detection, and they secrete factors that suppress T cell responses. And once the cancer has become established, it's largely won the battle, and our immune systems on their own can't stop the cancer's growth. So T-cell engagers have been developed as injectable protein therapies in the form of engineered antibodies that act as a bridge between the T cells and the cancer cells, and essentially give the T cells a new way to recognize and destroy the cancer cells with enhanced precision. This T-cell engagers work by simultaneously binding to a tumor-associated antigen on the cancer cells and an activating receptor such as CD3 on the T cells. And this dual binding localizes the T cells into the tumor and trigger their natural anti-tumor responses. And also through this mechanism, this technology bridges the simplicity of off-the-shelf therapeutic antibodies and the efficacy of adoptive cell therapies, including CAR T-cell therapies, without all the complexities and high expense of cell-based therapy regimes. So this has generated a lot of excitement about the T-cell engagers, and currently the FDA and other regulatory agencies have approved 8 different T-cell engagers in 11 different cancer indications. And even with this limited number of indications, the T-cell engagers are generating multi-billion-dollar annual sales, and they have been shown to be very effective in treating blood cancers, particularly lymphomas and leukemias. Current research is focused on expanding the development of these T-cell engagers against solid tumors, and this is an area where other immunotherapies have faced significant limitations due to this immunosuppressive tumor microenvironment.
Extremely helpful background and explanation. So I have to ask, what makes the company's T cell engager second generation?
So, although, as I mentioned, there's been a lot of success in the first generation T cell engagers, they do continue to face a number of significant challenges, including limited target antigen selection on tumors, the lack of efficacy in solid tumors, their low tolerance resulting in severe side effects in certain patients, and their complex manufacturing processes. And we believe our second generation T cell engagers address these issues. First, we've constructed our T cell engagers using our proprietary drug discovery and development platform that we call our TRBC platform. This technology allows us to rationally combine different functional components into a single therapeutic protein. So we can construct a T cell engager that not only targets that tumor antigen and activation of the immune effector cells, but simultaneously can reduce that immunosuppression in the tumor microenvironment through additional components engineered to act through multiple different mechanisms. This immunosuppression plays a pivotal role in reducing effector T cell infiltration and activity in the tumor microenvironment. So these additional components that are unique to our second generation molecules allow us to reduce that immunosuppression with minimal activation of the immune system's inflammatory responses. Second, we're developing T cell engagers that bind to a proven therapeutic target expressed on a broad array of difficult to treat solid tumors. Our lead second generation T cell engager recognizes a target called tissue factor that is expressed on many different solid tumors, such as pancreatic cancer, triple negative breast cancer, non-small cell lung cancer, and ovarian and cervical cancers. And tissue factor in the context of tumors promotes tumor progression and metastases. So as I mentioned, the tissue factor is an approved cancer therapeutic target as evidenced by its use in targeting Pfizer's DIPDAG against recurrent and metastatic cervical cancer. DIPDAG is an antibody drug conjugate that targets tissue factor expressed on the cancer cells, and thus adopting tissue factor as a target in creating our T cell engagers is a very logical choice. Finally, we've streamlined and simplified the manufacturing process for all of our T cell engagers.
Dr. Rhode, what do you think is driving the increase in interest in T cell engagers?
Well, as I mentioned, T cell engagers have experienced rapid growth in the past decade, again, due to their potential for redirecting the patient's immune cells against the cancer cells. And this is driven by the success of Amgen's Bleocyte, the first T cell engager approved in 2014. Since then, the field has seen an increasing number of T cell engagers in clinical trials and approved for market, both for hematologic cancers and more recently solid tumors. Their effectiveness has sparked ongoing research into their potential use in additional solid tumors and has marked them as one of the most promising immunotherapies. So thus, from all of this, T cell engagers have been the center of a string of biotech deal announcements in the recent months. Additional innovations such as multi-specific engagers, improved safety features, and expansion beyond oncology into autoimmune disorders have continued to drive the interest in this class of therapies. Overall, the promise of cancer immunotherapy research has been realized by the global expansion of the immuno-oncology market from around $10 billion in annual sales in 2014 to over $70 billion in 2024. And this initial growth was fueled by the success of immune checkpoint inhibitors and CAR T cell therapies. But many of these immune checkpoint inhibitors are approaching a patent cliff in the next few years. And the CAR T cell therapies, while offering deep responses in hematologic cancers, have not been very successful in treating solid tumors. They involve complex patient treatment schemes and a very time-consuming manufacturing process, as well as higher risk of severe side effects to the patients. So the industry spotlight has shifted to these next generation therapies, including these T-cell engagers, which, as I mentioned, offer many of the benefits of these other approaches without these drawbacks.
So, Dr. Rhode, you talked about the spotlight in this specific area with respect to big pharma. You talked about the big deals that are being done with biotech companies developing in this space. I have to ask, where are you in the development cycle for your T cell engager program?
So we're in the completing our IND enabling studies, and what we found with our lead anti-tissue factor T-cell engager is that it exhibits potent, specific anti-pancreatic cancer activity both in vitro and in humanized mouse models. In a recently completed non-human primate safety study, we've also demonstrated that subcutaneously administered anti-tissue factor T-cell engager was well tolerated at the efficacious dose levels and even higher dose levels. It promoted the expansion of the effector T cells in the animals, and there was no evidence for overt toxicity, despite the presence of tissue factor in some of the tissues and organs of the animals. We didn't see any significant cytokine release syndrome, which is a common side effect, serious side effect of T cell engagers. So, in our minds, this T cell engager has checked all of the boxes needed to advance as a product candidate. We've also filed patents and established a cost effective industry standard manufacturing process. However, given the size and complexity and cost of clinical trials for T cell engagers, we believe our corporate partnership strategy with a big pharma is the right approach for us to advance our T cell engager program into clinical development. And we're actively pursuing this approach.
Absolutely. And you already described that there was a playbook for these deals getting done. So, certainly an exciting time for your program. I feel like you answered this question 5 different times during our discussion so far. But I have to ask, as you know, this is a What This Means segment. Bottom line, what does this mean for HCW Biologics and your T cell engager program?
So the bottom line, Janine, is the HCW, with its innovative platform for creating novel T cell engagers and immune checkpoint inhibitors, is poised to play a major role in advancing these next generation immunotherapies. So we think we're at the right place at the right time.
Well, it certainly sounds like you are, and certainly an exciting time for HCW Biologics, Dr. Rhode. Thank you so much for joining me today for this What This Means segment. And to our audience, this does conclude our What This Means segment featuring HCW Biologics. Dr. Rhode, thank you so much for joining. And to our audience, thank you for your time and attention. And to view more events from Virtual Investor, please visit virtualinvestorco.com. And if you like what you saw today, I encourage you to visit the HCWBiologics.com website for more information on the company and to sign up to follow the company to receive their alerts, as well as follow their social channels to stay current on the latest information. And as a reminder, HCW Biologics trades on NASDAQ under the ticker HCWB. Dr. Rhode, thanks again. Thanks to our audience, and I wish everyone a great rest of your day.